Superintendent Chalmers, welcome. I hope you're prepared for an unforgettable
podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Creator Notes podcast. I am your host, ZombiesLvBacon, and today we are joined by a friend of mine who we just kind of ran into many events, and now we're just hanging out, I guess. the one and only Dudi. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I was trying to remember exactly what event and stuff we eventually crossed paths, because we kind of just went to many events together.
Yeah, I think it was.
We were just talking about how we both went to Morbius premiere.
Yeah, I think it was the first event where it was I came up and said hi and stuff, because I was chatting with Shelby a little bit, because she's like, "Oh, you going to the Ubisoft Forward thing at 3 o'clock in the morning at Fortress?" So I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "I think I see the back of your head," and I'm like, "Yes, that's the back of my head." And I just turned around and he was like, "Hey." And then it was just every event was hey, there he is. There was a week later was Mortal Kombat, then it was John Wick, right. And then it was
yeah. And then we just kind of well, we're going to be going to all these events, we're hanging out, and that's right. And then I think you were streaming maybe, and I came in and we were talking about something, and you said, "Oh, you should check out." I think it was a Warhammer video. Might have been the game.
Might have been.
And then I went and watched it, and then I ended up wasting way too much time down the rabbit hole. Look at all these videos. I think it was the seal the deal was the Days Gone video, which I still haven't finished Days Gone, but
it's my absolute favorite PlayStation game, out of everything PlayStation's done. But it is such a slow burn where it's if you don't like it 3 hours in, it's I'm sorry, if you just push through it, then it just starts to build.
Yeah. I think I streamed it for 3-4 hours, and I'm like, this is a lot more than I expected, and then we never went back.
It is a long game, man. It is 36 hours or something like that. 36 hours for me to finish Days Gone. It's full on. It's bloody great, but it's full on.
I mean, 36 hours in standard for a... would you call that a AAA game, or is it a AA game?
I mean, yeah, it was a PlayStation exclusive, and they were toting it up to be a big thing. And I think PlayStation Australia, when they dropped that game, they were putting out the wedding invites for the two main characters because they're married, and then they gave away hats and all this sort of stuff. So they made it this big thing, and then when you start Days Gone, it's it's a pseudo style zombie apocalypse, and someone's been shot, and oh my god, it's very much The Last of Us. And then I'm just dude, I'm not interested in this. And if you just stick with it, it's okay, it's not The Last of Us. It's not The Last of Us at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that were "Oh, this is the new Last of Us," to replace the it's their new post-apocalyptic story-driven game. And I'm like, this feels more I don't know the best way to describe it. Sort of, kind of like Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead sort of style.
It's Sons of Anarchy meets Walking Dead, but 2 or 3 years too late to ride that train.
Yeah, it missed peak Sons of Anarchy hype. It's
it's Sons of Anarchy's over a year and a half later. Here's Days Gone. I'm like, dude, I'm off Sons of Anarchy, and I'm now watching Yellowstone, so it's all about horses. And then Red Dead 2 drops, and you're just cool, all right, Red Dead, Yellowstone, that's all works.
Yeah, I can see how that works. I mean, yeah, we need to, before we've already gone off on a track. So I think most people would know you from your YouTube channel, Dudi Reviews, and the reviews, and sort of, it's kind of you review both new stuff, but you also do retrospective stuff, which is, things like, hey, is this game still relevant from X amount of years ago and stuff like that. Is that is that sort of how you would describe it, or is that kind of what you plan for the channel? Do you have a plan for the channel, or just sort of?
My whole thing, man, was just what the channel is now is when a new game comes out, if it's something that I can also provide a opinion or content or some form of opinion on. I'm currently doing a Helldivers video that should drop, or might drop now by the time this episode drops. And it's just dude, absolute love the game. It's great. This is why you should play it or whatnot. But then if it's a game that comes out one of the ones is Baldur's Gate 3. Everyone loved it. I played it for about 8 hours. It wasn't for me, to the point where I was I don't want to cover this because there's nothing I can really provide to the topic.
Yeah. I mean, you can always go for the rage bait title of I hated Baldur's Gate 3. This is why. But at the same time, you'd have to play it a lot to.
It's a big game. I try to There's obviously loads and loads of different YouTube channels out there that goes Suicide Squad sucks, and it sort of does, but I tried to provide this point of view of like, even if the game is the absolute worst thing in the world, there are still areas where it will shine. Like it'll be a game. Like I'll use Suicide Squad for an example. It's obviously I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone, but there's a lot of displeasure around that game. But they do some really, really cool things with it. Like the world of Metropolis is pretty cool. The character designs in regards to its costumes for like Superman and Green Lantern. Awesome.
The worst AAA game is still a lot of work. Like not everyone can make a AAA game that even is the worst.
Yeah,
it's like there's still good things about it. It's like,
it's sort of like pointing credit out where credit's due. Like even if I didn't enjoy the game, I also sort of wrap up a video being like, it wasn't for me. However, you might really dig it.
Yeah.
And that's sort of my real sort of shtick with it. And then when there's no new games coming out, because we all get that period of like nothing's out for a little while, like Star Wars Outlaws doesn't come out till August. What am I going to do till then? Sort of thing.
What are we doing until then? Like honestly,
Indiana Jones. Maybe Indiana Jones comes out between then. I can't remember the release date for Indiana Jones.
I think it's like next financial year, whenever it's going to happen.
Yeah. So then I'll just go like, all right, cool. Well, what was a game that came out 10 years ago? And last year it was Aliens Colonial Marines. I'm like, all right, that's a 10-year-old
also
game.
Extremely relevant all of a sudden with the new movie coming.
Yeah, so I was just like, all right, cool, let's play that. And then as I was writing my script for that video, I'm like, cool, well, what's the next Alien game that came out after Aliens Colonial Marines? I'm like, obviously it's Alien Isolation.
Ugh.
I'm like, fuck, that game was really, really good. They came out 1 year later. And I'm like, that game still looks fantastic. It's like great story. It's awesome.
I love let me start that again. I fucking hate Isolation, but
you hate it, but love it.
I respect they did something in there that I think a lot of people aren't aware of, but it's amazing. And it's kind of having a resurgence in other platforms now. But on the PS4 version of Alien Isolation, if you plug in your PS4 camera, yes, I had one of those. Yeah. The microphone makes it so that the aliens can hear you. So if you make a noise in real life, like they just turn 180 and they go, there he is. And they fucking get you. And like people are like, what? It's not in the VC version. It's not in any other version.
It's in the Xbox version.
Is it? Okay, well, there you go. So it's a console thing that people are like, I had no idea about this game. So anyway, I did Alien Isolation in VR with voice recognition on, and it was fucking hilarious and terrifying. And I just like I've never been so scared and just like adrenaline the whole time, because if I talk to chat or anything, then all of a sudden everyone's like, "What was that?" I come running over.
Yeah.
It was so good. And now you have there's a free to play horror game. I think it's like Breath Silent Edge or something. I can't remember. But like a lot of people playing it now on TikTok, and the whole point of it is you can't talk because all the creatures can hear you. And I'm like, this was done by Alien Isolation so long ago. Yeah, and now it's like people are like, wow, look at this new technology. It's like it's not new.
Because it was because the Alien Isolation came out on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. And if you bought an Xbox One originally, like when they first dropped, they came with the Kinect.
Yeah.
So not only did it pick up on your voice if you said something, if you were hiding behind a box and had your Kinect turned on, if you actually leaned on the couch, you would lean around the box, so you could actually lean on the couch. But there were multiple times where I was like living in my old apartment, and the wife would come home, or the girlfriend at the time would come home from work. Hi, honey, how was your day? You just killed me. Like, come on, dude.
It's so good. And like it's and I tell people, because I see people playing the game now, and I always tell them that, and like almost everyone has no clue that was a thing, and they're like, wow, that's really cool. And like, it is, and it's definitely where these games are now, where like don't scream or don't talk or whatever. These little indie horrors are getting there, are now coming along and doing exactly what this game did so long ago, and it's so underrated. It's just insane. And now, like I said, it's become relevant again because we've got, is it Romulus? It's coming out.
Romulus, coming out.
And that looks nuts. Like that's like, I feel like we've got a whole renaissance for Alien coming. It's just...
Yeah, because Marvel are also doing Alien comic books at the moment now, and they did like a 25-year later Aliens sequel where they go back to LV-426 with Vasquez's like nephew or something like that, trying to like fight back against the company or whatever it was. So Marvel is sort of still trying to do stuff, or Disney or Searchlight Pictures is still sort of doing stuff with Alien. And it's Fede Alvarez, I think, who's doing Alien Romulus, who did the Evil Dead remake.
That's it
as well.
Yep. So I'm actually keen for that. I hate that Alien's one of the franchises that just scares the shit out of me, but Like, I respect it.
Yeah, it's like when people go like Alien, Predator, what's scary? I'm like, Alien, if you don't have a gun, a Predator will leave you alone. It doesn't see you as sport, so it doesn't care.
Yeah.
An Alien's just like, oh, cool, that's an egg. Get the fuck away from it.
Mind you, the was it Prey, the Predator sort of prequel thing? That was pretty good. Damn good. So like, and it's apparently they're doing like a sequel to that at some point. So,
well, yeah, like when some of these movies drop as well, like when Prey dropped, I was like, cool, this is not a bad movie, sweet.
Yeah.
Like I did that as a blind watch with my wife. I'm like, I just turned it on, didn't tell her what we were watching, and she's like, oh, it's some bloody space alien, whatever. And I'm like, and then you get the clicking and the dots, and she goes, oh fuck, this is Predator. I'm like, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
And I went back and played Predator Hunting Grounds. I was like, what is this like now compared to when it launched? And that video just sort of exploded.
Also, another game that just came out at the wrong time. Like, it was at the lull of Predator. They brought out a Predator game, and it's like, come on, man.
They brought out a Predator game, and then the DLC for it was you got to play as modern day Dutch. And I want to say I'm 90% sure, but I'm fairly sure it's Schwarzenegger voicing it as well.
Possibly. I don't know.
And you can play as like classic Dutch and modern day Dutch, and he's got like this Predator mask as his shoulder gauntlet sort of thing.
Yeah.
And look, it's like, dude, I want a movie of that. How did he get that mask? How did he get those gnarly scars? Like, that's a story right there.
Yeah. Actually, I'd be down for that. Honestly, I was Prey was such an interesting one because I got sent an invite to like come to the premiere for it. I'm like, I thought this is like straight to streaming movie.
Yeah, just a quiet drop sort of thing.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we're doing like a fanfare, whatever. And I had it at the Astor here in Melbourne, and it's just a beautiful theater by itself. But it was a packed house, and it was such a like. It's so cool to see like that almost old school Predator on the big screen again. And I remember like the reviews and stuff came out, and obviously there was like a lot of media that got like screeners or whatever waited till it dropped in streaming. And like, wow, this would have been really good to see on the big screen. I'm like, well,
dude, were we not sitting in the same room? And when you go to some of these movie screenings and stuff, you go like, cool, that's the writer for JP Hi-Fi or whatever. You start to pick up on the familiar guys, and then you see them go like, yeah, the cinema was laughing throughout the entire time, and I'm like, dude, we were sitting in the same movie. Yeah. Not a tee-hee, not a chuckle, not a laugh. Like, what are you hearing?
Yeah, it's interesting. So, obviously, we totally gone sidetracked already, but I have follow up questions, which I'll get to in a second. But let's talk about. So you do a lot of reviews and stuff like that, obviously, and not just games. Pretty much
sometimes movies,
like.
Yeah, sometimes
movies. Massive DC fan.
It's no secret, right. Yes.
Yep. It is, and look, it's been ups and downs. We all get it. We're excited for the new universe. I take it. Like, I don't think don't think anyone's not excited.
I'm keen for it.
Yeah, I'm keen. Everything that I've seen, I go, no, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, okay. It was so different to the old way of doing things. It's this new way, and it's like, yeah, and it's weird being super transparent about things. It's like, we're working on this movie, and this is the actor, and they're going to be playing this role, and we're going from these comic books. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it. It's cool. Yeah,
you're telling us what we can expect rather than the fans going like, I'm fairly sure this is going to happen. No, this is going to happen. No, I'm pissed off that this didn't happen.
Yep. It's nothing better than when James Gunn just replies to someone's tweets like, no, that's not true.
Yeah. Oh, he absolutely got someone good on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it was, where it was like, Superman's not going to be the main character of the story, and James Gunn replies with like, oh, gee, I wonder who's going to be the main story of a film called Superman. Yes, it's going to be Superman.
Anyway, I'm excited for it. I think we're well overdue. I think Marvel's about to fucking cook themselves to death, and this James Gunn universe is going to be fresh and new, and it's what we need in superhero movies at the moment. So
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to having a good Superman. Not to say Henry Cavill was bad, but I'm looking forward to having the Boy Scout Superman, which like the only time we got that was in the not so great Joss Whedon Justice League. It was like, movie wasn't great, sure, but it was also like, that's Boy Scout Superman, like that's what he should be. Like he should take like an explosion to the chest and then everyone's alive and then he just laughs.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting closer to that animated kind of DC.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want. Yeah, I want that Bruce Timm Paul Dini animated sort of style.
Yes, absolutely. And so I'm excited for that. But yeah, so it's like, and yeah, we can see why we just can't. We are all over the place.
We can see why we get along.
Yeah, we can. So it's, and I think it's really cool. And I think there's a couple of things I want to really touch on. First of all, clearly you know your shit, because that's like, and that's I think a big thing where a lot of people are like, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel and I want to review movies. It's like, okay, cool. You need to kind of know a little bit about your content before you go make that content sort of stuff. Like, there's no point being a film reviewer if you don't watch movies, kind of thing, if you get what I mean. Like, you need to live and breathe it and stuff like that. And that's why I find your content really good, because it's like, it feels like it's almost researched properly. Like, there's a bit of, hey, this is the context to why this is an important thing, not just like the graphics are great and this person's voicing the person. It's like, okay, cool. And you're like, oh, this is great because this person voiced the person and he voiced these people and he worked with those people. And I really enjoy that about like, and I feel like we had this conversation on a previous podcast with Drew, who also does like YouTube long format stuff. And like, the stuff I love about his content is that he does all the research and like shows all his sources and stuff like that. And there's so many YouTube channels now that will just put a YouTube video up for the sake of putting a YouTube video up. And it's like, well, what's the point? What's the point to it? And I think the thing that kind of seals the deal, particularly with the stuff that you've been doing, which I know that you did the Lord of the Rings stuff recently, which I haven't. Yeah, I finished the first game. I haven't finished the second game, but your videos are like, fuck, should I go back?
Yeah, it was. I don't even know what sort of. I think it was like a Steam sale that was on that was just like, oh, you can get Shadow of War and Shadow of Mordor for $7. I'm like, dude, I've really enjoyed those games. I'm currently playing the Arkham. Like, at the time, I was playing the Arkham games and doing the longest video on my channel is like a 45-minute Arkham Knight retrospective of like why I think why Arkham Knight I think is better than City and Asylum. Ooh. That's a personal opinion, but like I was like, fuck, these games are really good. I'm gonna go back to these like when there's that lull between new releases, and then I was just like, screw it, I'm about to go overseas to Scotland for like 3.5 weeks. Let's play the crap out of these and let's drop them while I'm sitting in like the Johnny Walker distillery. I'm like, and then just go back to drinking. And yeah, I woke up one morning to an email being like, congratulations, your video's at 100,000 views. And I was like, fuck off. Shit, dude.
It's so weird. But the thing is, and this is why I bring that up, is that there's an active conversation happening around at the moment where the most played games are old games. Like they said that like the most played games for the last 12 months, like I think 6 out of the top 10 are 10 years old. And it's like because things like Fortnite and stuff have been around a while now, and it's like, and then you have new games. I hate to keep picking on, Suicide Squad, but like Suicide Squad, which is meant to be a live service game that drops and it's meant to suck all your time in, but it hasn't done that for many people at all.
For a lot of people, I think. What was it? I did a screen grab of like active players playing Suicide Squad, because I compared Suicide Squad to Gotham Knights because they're both somewhat similar-ish in some vein. Yeah. And I went, okay, cool. Suicide Squad released a month and a half ago, or like maybe 4 weeks ago. And Gotham Knights released 18 months ago. Gotham Knights has 100 less players than Suicide Squad. What the actual fuck? That's not a good sign.
Yeah, I enjoyed Gotham Knights. I could definitely see where the co-op side of things would make that like a different game almost, maybe a better game. But it was hard because so many people were on the fence of even buying the game. So it's hard to be like, hey, come play this game with me. And like, oh, I don't want to sink $70 in a game I don't know anything about. And then
I think it's on PlayStation Plus now. That
mate, I bought it from EB Games for $3. They had a special
$3. All right, cool.
I could get a PS5 physical version of the game for $3. Sure, I'll buy it. Whatever.
Or you could buy like a small cheeseburger from McDonald's or something like that for $3.
That's the economy that I work in. I'm like, that's cheaper than a Big Mac. It's
if a game's cheaper than a Big Mac, then just buy it, because you could also like get a really crap Big Mac.
Yeah, I don't like Big Macs.
Okay, that's a story. That's a story.
Yeah, it was interesting that the way that like people were playing like things like BioShock Infinite, things like the Lord of the Rings games, and like the older Call of Duties are becoming more popular than the newer Call of Duties. Like there's this whole renaissance of, hey, the games that we're getting now that are A, very expensive, and B, not very good. They like I could spend $10 on a Steam sale and get a AAA game from 2008 that's going to be much better and do that. And what I've discovered through my years of content is that if someone's playing a game, if I'm playing through, say, like Detroit Become Human and whatever, then all of a sudden I'm interested in watching Detroit Become Human videos. And then that's what we're seeing now is we're seeing all these people who are going, oh, you know, I'm playing older games. I'm interested in videos about that. And it's so hard to then go back and watch content that was made 10 years ago. And it's like, it's no, you know, content back then was.
It's like, yeah. But
I don't want to say shit. Dated is the word I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, like sometimes you know, like I'll go back and I'll play an old game. Like one of the first videos on my channel, sort of when I was starting off, and it's. If you watch some of my old videos compared to my new videos, like you can clearly tell the difference between like the audio editing and my memes are a bit better and all that sort of stuff like that. But like I went back and went like, why Bioshocks? The Bioshock trilogy is like one of the best single player experiences of all time. But you type in like Bioshock review or whatever for similar to, as you were saying, like, you know, you played Detroit Become Human and then you want to watch those videos like Dead Meat. The YouTube channel Dead Meat just did like the Hannibal movies. So now I'm downstairs this morning. I was watching Silence of the Lambs while eating breakfast. I was like, yeah, cool.
Yeah, there's almost an entire market for like publishers and stuff to just like start pushing old games for old game sales again. I mean, it's also
a lot easier to play old games now. Like I feel like not to do that old cliche like back in my day, but it was just sort of like when I was a kid and, you know, you had a Nintendo 64 and you played WWE Attitude or Warzone or, you know, Mario Kart 64, whatever it was. And then once I got a GameCube, yes, I was a kid who had a GameCube. Like, same. I don't even know what happened to my 64. I think my parents like just took it out of my room one day. It was like, he's got the new stuff. He's not going to go back to the old stuff. He's never going to go back and play it. And now it's like, okay, cool. You can now play Mario 64 on like the Nintendo Switch or whatever. I'm like, cool. Well, that's member berries. I'm going to go back and play it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and look, we literally talked about this, I think, on a couple of podcasts ago. But it's like there's member berries of like, oh yeah, you know, Mario 64 is a great example where you go like, holy shit, this game is crazy. Like it's hard to even put anything on that same level now. And then you go back. I recently did the Tomb Raider remakes. Yes. I went back and went, holy fuck, how do we even control this? What is this camera? What is going on? And like I could get past level 2, and I'm like, the 6-year-old me could do it. What's going on?
It's that thing of like, you know, back then it was just like the up, down, left, right on the like the PlayStation controller that didn't have the analog sticks, and now that we're used to 2 analog sticks to move and look, you're like, shit, I had to tank control turn and then do the backflip and stuff like that. Yeah,
and like the only reason why I think I finished level 2 was that I had someone come into my chat who was like a Tomb Raider aficionado, and they're like, oh, you got to stop standing jump here. That's a running jump there. You got to turn 45 here. I'm like, holy shit. He's like stepping me through the controls to get me through the level. And I'm like, how did young me do it? But the thing is, and I've toyed around with this idea as well, is like I want to go back and like review games. So like review it as if it came out. So like go back to like a PlayStation 1 game and be like, this is the latest and greatest in PlayStation 1 technology.
Cutting edge technology.
And like just because some of the reviews and stuff you watch back there, it's like what the fuck are you talking about? And now when we kind of have a greater understanding of like storytelling and stuff like that, and like things like Metal Gear Solid is a great example where like people are like, this game's fucking hard, it's punishing, you know, it's, you know, there's stealth stuff here, you get and all this stuff. And now when you look at it, like, I get what he was doing. Like you're meant to be feeling these emotions as you're going through it. It's not that the game's hard, it's that this story is hard and you're meant to be having a hard time to play the story. But you look at all the reviews, like, you know, it's not safe for kids, they're not going to enjoy playing this, don't buy it, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it was different. It was ahead of the time, honestly. And
I think the only moment in like the original Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1, like the only not safe for kids part that springs to mind is when you're like looking for shit. What was the scientist's name? The Odegon? Was it Odegon?
Oh, it sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking for that scientist, and then like it's that corridor just before the ninja fight, and you just see all those dead bodies, and it, like all the blood on the wall, and that creepy like techno like skipping sort of sounds, and you're like, the fuck is this? And then you go back into that corridor later, and all the bodies are gone.
I fucking love that game. It's actually, the Metal Gear Solid franchise is something I'm about to get back into because I haven't played it since like I think four. I think 4 was the last time I played it.
4 is where I stopped, and I'm kind of happy I stopped at 4 because I played a little bit of 5, and I'm like, it's not my jam. I'm gonna put it down.
Yeah, and look, that's totally fair. But I think there's there's this weird kind of thing, and like I want to tie things back to like content creation and stuff like that in general. But like there's this weird fixation with, okay, well this game's coming out, so I have to play this game, or this is the popular game, so I have to play this game, and so on. But I think there's like this whole niche that's missing where you go, okay, well I'm going to play this game that I really like because I enjoy doing it, and therefore I'm actually going to do it. And then if you enjoy it, then the people that are going to come and watch your content are the people that also enjoy it, and probably your friends, you know. And it's like, it's like it's that weird thing where you don't want to play a game that you hate, because then all the people that love that game are probably people you don't like either. It's like, you know, I kind of felt that way where like I used to play Call of Duty all the time as like, but it was more of like a social thing. It was like the thing that I do with the boys kind of thing. And then now the people that are playing Call of Duty kind of full time, I don't necessarily get along with them. Like we're just not on the same, like I'd much rather play a story driven game or something that requires, you know, not being trying to figure out the meta and then just sweating your ass off to play it constantly. Like, it's just not for me. And that's why I've fallen back into like Fortnite, for example, because it's just like, who gives a shit? You know, it's just weird and wacky colors and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, and there's so many like different ways to play Fortnite, because you've got like your build mode, your non-build mode. Then they've got like the player created like puzzling challenge platforming rooms and stuff like that. I'm like, cool, sweet. Yeah. It is a game that can be played by anyone.
Yeah, and honestly, they've done. And I remember reading this article about how they did this thing where. They did like a review. So they went and like reviewed their general customers that were playing Fortnite, and like, what do you like, what do you don't like, etc. And like the number one thing that came back was, I don't like firing up Fortnite after my fucking working 12 hours and getting my ass kicked immediately. It's a bad experience. And like, okay, so we need to make it so that the skill-based matchmaking, I guess, for the lack of a better term, whatever matchmaking they call, is smarter. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to put you in lobbies with people your skill level. And if we can't find enough people with your skill level to be in that lobby, then we'll fill it with bots as well. And then therefore, you're on an evil playing field. You're not going up against some pro that's been playing for 12 hours that day. He's going to kick your ass. And then all of a sudden,
that one random dude who's been like linked into a professional tournament.
Yeah. And it's like, so it's all of a sudden, I'm playing Fortnite. And I'm like, this is great. These guys are screwing around as much as I am, and this is excellent, and I can fuck around as well. And every now and then it's sort of like, here's 100 people, you know, and I'll work my way through down to like the last 5, and I'm like, okay, well now we're up against the people that are the sweats, and that's it. And that's kind of fun, and I really enjoy that. But then you jump onto something like Apex, and it's like, you jump in, I'm like, I feel like looting. Oh no, I got sniped by someone from 700 meters away. It's fine. Cool. Back to the lobby.
Cool. Same sort of thing. Like, I absolutely loved Rainbow Six Siege. Like, everyone would go like Call of Duty or Battlefield, and then you don't play Siege for 6 months. You come back to it. There's new operators, weapon changes. I think like the last massive like update Siege did was they added in a defensive operator called Melusi, and I absolutely loved her because she put down these devices that would slow down the movement speed of attackers. And they were bulletproof. You could only melee them or get them with explosives. I'm like, sweet, cool. I'm going to jump on top of a table, chuck it on the wall, break the table. They can't get to it unless they blow it up. And then I logged back in. I'm like, sweet, I'm going as Melusi. I put my thing up. I just see someone shoot it. And I was like, the fuck just happened? Like, no.
Game's changed.
What are you doing?
Yeah. That's Rainbow Six Siege is like the perfect example. I played that game like crazy amount of hours when it first came out, and then when it like hit that popular and started to get like esports and stuff like that,
it's getting very Overwatchy. Like he's an operator who can revive people after they're dead. I'm like, just keep it realistic, dude. Like that's what I liked about it.
I just like, the thing is, I just like fucking smashing walls and blowing shit up. I'm like, I'm here for have fun, and then the person I took 3 years off the game. I come back and this person never took any time off the game, but we're somewhere in the same match, and he fucking just destroyed
me. He picked me while I was walking past a wall that had no holes in it.
That person's on my team, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why are you there? What are you doing? Why are you there?" I'm like, what am I meant to be doing?
Dude, I'm reinforcing walls. No, don't reinforce that wall. That wall. No, not that wall.
There's a peak on the other side of the map. I need that. It's like, fuck, man. I'm just trying to play the game. Leave me the fuck alone. I think I went back and played it because I got a few people that are like mad Siege fans, and they're like, "Yeah, we should play Siege again." I'm like, sure. I think I got 2 kills the entire night. I think I played for like 5 hours, and I think I got 2 kills.
Yeah,
I definitely got angry.
Like, dude, you need someone to jump in. You've got a spare spot. You're like, no, man, we're ready.
Yeah, I'm looking for a way out, not a way back in. but it's and that for me, like if they, I don't know, if there was a more newbie friendly area for Siege, I'll probably get back into it. But it really, Mate, unless you got like some kind of siege boot camp, you can like ease you back into the fucking front lines.
They have done that. They've put in a firing range so you can test all the guns and all the scopes and the attachments and stuff to get all the feedback. But I think there is like an actual like a warm up sort of way to get back into it, as well as a lot of people now. And how I sort of started to learn to use a mouse and keyboard when I moved from console to PC was people just do terrorist hunt and they put it on the hardest difficulty because it's like if you can survive hardest difficulty terrorist hunt, you're fine to go into multiplayer.
You take on the noobiest noobs in actual multiplayer.
Yeah, but it teaches you to like, yeah, cool, you died because you didn't check that corner when you walked in the room because 90% of the room's fine, but there's some dude behind the wall with a gun.
Yeah, so, I honestly, I can't see myself getting back into that game unless I'm hard carried by like 4 pros or something like that. It's like, it's so much to learn and like think about. And yeah, it's crazy. And then I think about people that like are smashing it and also streaming and like getting donos and talking to chat, stuff like that, while just like fucking
while doing it. I'm like, dude, you're turning to look at a camera or like to look at your chat to be like, oh yeah, hey Steve, yeah, no worries, man. Yeah, I got him. Yeah, no worries, man. I'm like,
yeah, exactly, right. So how did he see that guy? And then meanwhile, I'm like, oh yeah. Thanks for the follow. Oh, I'm dead. Game's over.
I'm dead.
Oh, we're back in the lobby already.
Oh, dude, I think I had that experience once. It was like 2 years ago. We used to do these F1 championships once a week. We'd stream it, and the winner of the championship would get like a prize and the whole thing. Some dude followed me on like the second last lap of Silverstone. And I was well in front. I was like 45 seconds in front, coming first. He hit the follow button, but it wigged out the stream, like it froze the stream, but then it dropped the frame rate in the game to 5 frames per second. And I went from first to 5th, and I'm like, thank you for the follow. I've now lost the race.
I'll never forget you.
Nah.
Man, it's so hard, and I don't understand it. And like, we had Liquid Wi-Fi on last week on the podcast, and he is like, wow, he's currently not, but he has been a world record holder for Simpsons Hit and Run, and he streams it, and he streams it to like 500 degenerates who are just literally. I was being in his chat, and they're like, hey, Liquid, can we buy our groceries with channel points? He's like, no, you can't buy channel point groceries. That'd be ridiculous. And they're like, but you're a supermarket. He's like, I'm not a supermarket. He's like, and they're like, chat's arguing with him that the person is a supermarket. And he's like, I'm not a fucking supermarket, guys. Meanwhile, he's doing levels that took me like 5 hours to do. He's doing them in like 10 seconds. He's he's like, he sees the Matrix. I'm like, how do you do it? It's just like, I've just been doing it for a long time. Dude, how?
And that's also like another thing in the gaming industry as well. Like people, like the audience will sing out for like remaster, remake Simpsons Hit and Run. It is a family-friendly GTA, and people love that game. It's like, nah, they haven't done anything with it. Don't know the reasons as to why or whatnot, but it's just like that's if you want to print money, that's how you do it.
Yeah, and look, I talked to him about it because I'm like, I bet you get every single fucking Simpsons Hit and Run anything mentions it, they send it to you. He's like, yep. Every one of them. And he explained why there's not going to be another one. And also the fact that we haven't had a Simpsons game since Tapped Out, which is just
we haven't had one since that phone game Tapped Out.
Yeah. And now that fucking it's Disney, who knows what Disney wants to do with that fucking IP. They could do anything. But also Tapped Out makes money, makes bank, like crazy bank.
So, yeah, I played it for like a couple of hours or so, and it was like, "Are you sure you don't want to buy premium credits?" I'm like, "You've asked me 5 times in the past 2 minutes. I'm not interested." I was listening to another podcast where they were talking about like the earnings of all these games and stuff, and they were touching on that whole article around how people like older games and stuff like that, and like the state of gaming in general. And one of the things they brought up was like some ridiculous percentage, but like it was like 4 or 5% of the total earnings of the gaming industry for the last year was from Monopoly Go. It's like, Monopoly Go.
It's just a mobile game because there's so much money that just funnels into it. And it's like this, and that's like people complain. They go, I want a Simpsons Hit and Run, but the reality is, if they made another Simpsons mobile game, they'd make more money.
Yeah, I think I was talking to you about it as well at one of the Ubisoft events where they showed off the Division on your phone. I think,
I played it. I got into the creator program for the Division Resurgence, and we played it, and it plays like Division. Like it's a full Division game on your phone.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't know anyone like in my own like friendship group and stuff like that who's asking for mobile games. And like, dude, mobile games is getting there. And I'm like, if I'm away from my computer, I just want to listen to an audiobook on the way to the office. Like, there's no way I want to keep playing games.
The simple answer is it's not for you, and it's not for me. It's not for gamers. It's for the people that are outside that don't have a computer or a console.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, what's this Division thing? Oh, I can download it on my phone. Sweet. Oh,
yeah.
And what's $50 extra? That seems normal. Away they go. It's for them, and they spend mega bank because they have more money than people that spend all their money on games. And it's as simple as that. It's
I mean, yeah, not wrong.
Yeah, but like
Helldivers came out with a new what was it, battle pass thing or whatever it's called. Yeah, and it's just like, yeah, it's $10 done. I'm playing it so much. I want those weapons.
It's fucking $10, man. It's like, again, Big Mac economy.
Yeah.
And that's where Helldivers will fucking kill it, because even if you don't have $10, it's like X amount of premium currency. It's like, well, shit, I'm gonna have to run 50 more missions to get this premium currency.
And you'll have so much fun doing those 50 missions as well, just because Helldivers is just an incredibly entertaining game.
And this is the thing, right? And this is where people go, what the fuck? I don't want to pick on Suicide Squad, but we're going to have to pick on Suicide.
It's fine.
Just a little bit more.
It's fine.
Right?
Because
it's a little bit more. Easy target.
The way you're allowed to pick on Suicide Squad compared to Helldivers is Arkham Knight and Helldivers 1 released the same year.
Yep.
So they're both 9 years apart.
And also, Helldivers 1 peaked at 10,000. Peaked at 10,000 players. Helldivers 2 is 800,000. Concurrent players. They said the other night, like, they put out a new request, special order or whatever to attack this planet. There was 450,000 people on that planet. There wasn't even 450,000 people playing Suicide Squad. That was a cheap shot.
I think it was like 13,000 was the peak players of Suicide Squad, because everything got leaked before that game came out. So people knew how characters died, what the story was. They knew everything before that game dropped.
Yeah, and part of the problem is that the DC boys are hungry. But what the point I was going to make was that they're both meant to be live service games, and they both do it very differently. But the thing is, even though Suicide Squad is more expensive for the base game, more expensive for any DLC or cosmetic, all that's more expensive, where Helldivers is like, okay, it's a $50 risk, and if I want to buy a battle pass, it's $10. All right, so really, I just took my friend.
You get a free battle pass with it as well.
Yeah, and I took my family to McDonald's. All right, that's the price there. Okay, but the thing that even with that being cheaper, Helldivers is just fun. It's actually I want to play it. I want to go in and play the same mission over and over again because it's fun. And that's where I think a lot of people miss it. They can make the best live service roadmap, whatever you want in the world, but if the game's not fun at its core, then you have a problem. And I think that's where games I'm picking on Suicide Squad because it's the most relevant one, right? But games where they go, hey, we're going to make this whole live service thing. It's going to last forever, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, cool. You need to make the game loop fun at the core base before you put all that monetary stuff in. Another one's Skull and Bones. Skull and Bones, which I absolutely loved and played the shit out of. The end game loop and that live service element of that game is what lets it down. It's the worst part of the game. Yeah,
it was the same thing with Avengers. The actual single player campaign was pretty good, but as soon as you got to the end game part where you have, with the last two characters you got Thor and Captain America with the last two characters you unlock, and then it's open world.
Yeah, if you look at it, it's exactly the same. Actually, it's exactly the same. Great story, and it's so linear. This is the next mission. You do the next mission.
You're going down literal corridors.
and then what should be the payoff? What should be the arc at the end of the game where you go, wow, that was fucking awesome. It's now play it forever. It's no, I don't want to do that. I don't know. I don't want to do that. What if you wanted me to play it forever, you need to introduce all this forever shit earlier in the game and get me indoctrinated into it. You don't wait till I get to the end of the game. It's oh, now that you've finished it, we want you to keep playing. It's well, no, I'm done.
Well, I think that was one of the biggest problems with Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, Avengers.
Yeah,
same game. But what Suicide Squad does well compared to Avengers was Avengers did the Destiny route of the different biomes. You can go to Wakanda and you can go to the middle of Russia and all that sort of stuff like that. I'm dude, if you gave us the Spider-Man game and you made an open world New York or San Francisco or whatever city you chose, playing as the Avengers, I'm like, of course I'm gonna love like flying around as Iron. I'm like, I'll turn the game on just to bum around as Iron Man, flying in a big open world where like I don't want to fly the same speed that Captain America can run at, which doesn't make any sense. And do this little biome thing where there's always something to web swing off when you're playing as Spider-Man. I'm like, no, just give me a big ass open world, and if someone can't keep up, that's the negative of playing as that character. Like,
you give him something
Hulk
else.
is really powerful, but he can't keep up with Iron Man's speed. So if Iron Man charges in front, he's screwed if Hulk's not there.
You know what? Actually, the game that is coming that kind of looks like they're getting that right is that Overwatch clone fucking
Marvel Rivals.
That's it. Yeah, which kind of looks like, people say it's like Overwatch, but to me, I look at it and I go, that's that. What's that third person MOBA? Smite.
Yeah, Smite. Or what was the 2K version of Overwatch? They came out like a couple of weeks before. That's it.
Fucking love Battleborn.
Yeah, it looks like that, and I was just sitting there like I watched the trailers and the reveals and those leaks and stuff, and I'm like, cool, Magneto's in this game. I'm like, I can't wait to play it. And if it's a free game and it's like, yeah, look, it's $5 for a skin. I'm like, dude, if a skin is between $2 to $5, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna buy every skin for that character because one day I'm gonna go, I want to play as young Thor.
It's the Big Mac economy. As long as the skin's cheaper than a Big Mac, we'll go for it.
Dude, I put that on a t-shirt. It's the Big Mac economy. That's a t-shirt seller right there.
But it's like, I look at that and like, oh, if you want to use, if you want to be nimble and fly around and shoot stuff, you're Iron Man. If you want to be fucking a tank class, then you're the Hulk. I'm like, that's simple.
That makes sense. You don't need also a menu to explain how that works. It's like tank, Hulk. Yep, cool, got it.
And like I play the shit out of Smite. Again, it was like a social game for me. Like we'd just jump on and we'd play Smite and just fuck around, whatever. And then just by playing it, you unlock shit and you get skins and whatever. If they just do that same economy where they just do like, all you have to do is play the game and you'll get everything. Great. It'll work. Yeah. But it's when they want like an initial investment. We're like, hey, you got to pay $60 and then you've got to buy the battle pass and you got to buy the skins. Like, I'm out. It's too much. I don't want to pay before I even play the game.
You're getting a bit money hungry here. Yeah. You want us to buy all this stuff in order for us to not only play the game, but also look how our characters want to look like. If we want that old school 90s X-Men outfits for Magneto or whatever, it's like, yeah, that's $15 for that skin. I'm like, no, if that's $4, fine. $4, I'll buy 5 or 6 skins.
Yeah. Or, if I have to play 10 matches to unlock it, great. I'll play 10 matches.
It's like, what was it? The beta for Gears of War 3. I think there was from memory, it was like get 100 kills or 200 kills or whatever it was with the Lancer assault rifle, gives you the gold retro Lancer.
I love that shit.
So what did I do? I played the fuck out of it just so I had the gold retro Lancer.
Yeah. Or that back in the day when it was like, hey, get 10 headshots with this gun and you unlock a new skin for it. I'm like, that makes me play the game.
Same thing with like Helldivers. Get 25 kills with the rocket launcher and you get medals. I'm like, sweet, cool. Load in the rocket launcher for the next map.
All of a sudden, everyone's using rocket launchers. It's like, okay, that's it. But yeah, it's crazy. But this is where like people now they're I guess they're sick of a lot of that kind of nickel and diming of a lot of those modern AAA games, or in the case of Skull and Bones, a quadruple A game. But we won't go into that. Dumb thing to say.
I will say Skull and Bones. The one thing that just blew me away with Skull and Bones, like I don't know anyone who was excited for it at the time, but I was at the tattoo parlor getting some ink done, and my artist goes like, "Dude, have you seen Skull and Bones?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, sweet." And he goes, "Dude, it looks so fucking good." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Dude, I'm so keen on Skull and Bones." And I'm like, "You played Sea of Thieves?" He's like, "Yeah, but fuck Sea of Thieves, man. Skull and Bones looks like it's legit." I was like, "Cool, man, right on."
That's me. That's me. I played the fuck out of Skull and Bones, but out of fucking Sea of Thieves, but fuck Sea of Thieves. Fuck that game. Seriously. Like the amount of times you have to rely on your teammates to be competent, first of all, or the fact that you come up against other pirates that haven't touched grass and only live in the seas and just fucking rail you constantly. Get fucked, honestly. Like it's just you spend 6 hours getting all this loot and then this guy comes up and he fucking sinks you with 3 shots and then he fucking dances on your grave. Like, I'm out, man. I'm out. And then when you go play Skull and Bones, you drive the ship. You can customize it in so many different ways. You can do so much more. And like, this is fucking awesome. I love it. And like the gameplay loop of like you just progressively get stronger and everything around you gets weaker and you just become the fucking king of the ocean. Awesome. Love it. So good. And like even the PvP was like stressful, but like not like unwinnable.
And entertaining stressful, yeah.
Yeah. And then but it's just the live service bit of it, like where they tried the nickel and dime you, just ruined that game. Like if they had because look, I'm sorry for anyone who hasn't finished Skull and Bones, but there is no ending. The game doesn't end. You just you meet your first character who gives you all your missions and you have your story with him. You meet your second character, mission story with him or her, sorry. And then it goes, okay. And all right, what do we do now? Nothing. There's nothing there. It's whatever you get. Start running your empire forever is basically what they say. I'm like, well, what the fuck happened to the story?
It was like what was it? It was the Avengers game where the first DLC for that game, similar to what sort of Suicide Squad did with the Joker, it was like the Joker's coming, he's going to be the first season pass, he's going to be a free character that you unlock. I'm like, sweet, cool. Avengers did the same thing, and the first DLC was Kate Bishop, and it was like, cool, all right, getting Kate Bishop. So obviously it's going to link to Hawkeye somehow. Play the DLC, and the first DLC ends with like Hawkeye being like, we're in trouble. Something's coming and we are in deep trouble. And I'm sitting there going, oh, this is going to be good. Like the way they set it up. And then at the end of the second Hawkeye DLC, I'm like, problem's done. And I'm like, really? You try to set up this like, not Thanos, but like this big event that's going to ruin the world. And then by the end of the Hawkeye DLC, I think the problem is solved by Hawkeye not quitting the Avengers. I'm like, really? That's it?
Come on, man. It's like, seriously, come on. It's like, what are we doing here? You know, I can see where Skull and Bones is going, because what they'll do is DLC will give you the next character and the next set of missions. But that is like, that is like, commit to us. We'll give you new stuff. We'll drip feed it to you. I would have been much better if we like had a 3 acts and a payoff. And then that would have been fine for me. And they could put all that other like nickel and dime open world whatever shit in there. It doesn't matter. You don't even have to play it. Just get a full experience. Without it, there's no full experience. And
yeah, like your last missions like blowing up a fortress, and then it's like, cool, you've just gotten rid of a naval fortress. The sea is now free, and then it's like, cool, now that you've blown up the fortress, the Spanish are coming in to fuck you up. It's like, that's your next chapter for the DLC. I'm like, cool, perfect. Sweet, yeah.
Something, anything. Like I honestly, like, is that it? Where's the next mission? And I had to look it up. It's like, no, that's the last mission. You did it. Cool. All right, then.
Back to Helldivers.
Yeah, all right, look, we don't want to be the Helldivers podcast, but Helldivers is like, hey, do this, and then you do it, and they're like, all right, cool. We'll get back to you. And then they come back, and they're like, oh, yeah, we fuck shit up for you. Here you go. And you're like, all right, we're back in. You know, it's like a tit for tat kind of thing where like the story just keeps on happening. And if you're not there, you feel like you're missing out. And it's like, oh man, I got to get back into Helldivers. That shit's going down.
What was it? I saw a tweet this morning that was like, Helldivers is doing content drops the best way possible, because they're not announcing their content drops. They're just like, dude, if you go to this planet on this difficulty, did you see the flying bugs? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about flying bugs? And then you just go and it's like, there they are. And then the developers are like basically doing that. They're acting as if they're in the world of Helldivers. Like, we have no idea. Super Earth has no idea what you're talking about. Go liberate that planet. I was like, there's a fucking AT-AT sitting there.
There's all this deep lore about how the bugs came there and we're just killing them for their oil and all this shit. And
then we put the bugs there.
It's all there. It's all this, and it's like, but it's not them telling the story. It's the people going out and they're learning it by playing the fucking game, and then we're all talking to each other. It's like it's back to the schoolyard days of playing Pokemon and being like, oh, did you see this Pokemon? Did you find it over here and stuff like that? It's like that. And like Helldivers, I saw the trailer. I'm like, oh, it looks interesting, because I'm a massive fucking Starship Troopers fan. So I'm like, you know, it's sticking on my brain.
This game's had me rewatch the movie like the past week. I was like, fuck yeah.
So many people. And then the thing that got me was that I was watching, the game came out, and on the day I was watching like videos on TikTok, as I do, scrolling, and like people were doing like news reports and talking about the front lines. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's cool. And then they were like fucking montages to Freebird of them just like getting slaughtered. I'm like, I'm fucking in. And like, I remember I got this fucking true story, and I had no money. It was a week before payday, so I was living povo, and I literally no money, right? I got a dono on stream, and they're like, "Hey man, you know, fucking good to see you. Get yourself some pizza. Chill out, whatever." I took that pizza money and went and brought Helldivers. and I went to JB Hi-Fi, and I'm like, Helldivers like sold out everywhere, man. It's like fuck. So then I had to go buy the digital version because I'm like, I need to play Helldivers. And I jumped in and had the best time on day one. And then I had to wait like 2 weeks from the servers to not be at capacity.
That's right.
And I was just like, I was telling everyone, like, stop telling people how good Helldivers is. Stop it. They're fucking clogging up my servers. But it wasn't Helldivers marketing that got me. It was all the people playing the game going, this is fun. Fuck, I'm in.
I say it in my Helldivers video. It is the absolute best thing for the gaming community right now. Helldivers 2 is because like 3 months ago, like when that Indiana Jones trailer dropped that Bethesda's doing, my Twitter feed was full of like, this game's gonna suck. Uncharted is much better. Last of Us is better than Starfield. All the general console war stuff. Yeah. And now that Helldivers has come out, the online community is for like, let's get Xbox on board. We need reinforcements. Like they know how drop pods work because they've played Halo. We fucking need them. Let's go.
I was talking to a heap of non-gamers, like executives, right, at an event that I went to recently, and they are all playing Helldivers. They all have PlayStations. They all play Helldivers. And the one thing that stood out to me, and this is from a non-gamer point of view, like I've never seen a game where it's so rough on launch, like you could barely play it, but everyone's like, it's fine. It'll be good soon. Don't worry about it. Just relax. Like they didn't even go, this game's shit, unplayable, give me back my money. Everyone's like, no, it's cool. We'll wait. We'll wait for Helldivers to work. Yeah. It's never happened. It's like everyone's always like, if a game doesn't work on day one, like shit, uninstall, fucking typical unfinished game, blah, blah, blah. Like Helldivers was unplayable for the first 2 weeks.
Dude, you'll love this. This week, I've got a like corporate 9-to-5 job, and a mutual mate of ours is in the meeting, and they're like, "Oh, what does everyone do for a hobby?" And this guy goes, "Oh, sweet liberty,
sweet
justice."
liberty.
It's just like, I'm just sitting there in the middle. I just send him a gif of the Helldivers doing the salute. It's just like, it's a great job.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And look, honestly, it just highlights that if you make a game that's good and fun, then people will buy it. And
will buy it and they'll stick with it, even if there's an issue with it. Yeah.
And and again, I was listening to this podcast and I was talking about games that get persecuted on day one because of something. Like, and they were talking about the Dead Space remake that had like performance issues on the day, like for 1 day. Like it was a day of performance issues, and people were like, unplayable, refund, done, I'm out. And like it was like a sizable amount of people that like pre-ordered the game, installed it, had some slight stuttering, uninstalled the game, didn't play it anymore. It's like,
dude, the Dead Space remake was I absolutely love that game.
Yeah, and like, people that played it love it. But it was getting them in. It was the problem that they struggled with.
And the thing was, I think it was like Resident Evil 4 and Dead Space released so close to each other. And it's like, obviously, Dead Space was heavily inspired by Resident Evil 4, and both their remakes come out within like, I don't know, 5 or 6 weeks.
Action horror genre. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, I was like, I played Dead Space, I played Resident Evil 4. I had like my hard drive full of the footage. I was like, I'm going to do a comparison video and just see how this goes and like see which one's better. And like, they're both absolutely like I don't give numbered scores, but they're both like a 10 out of a 10 game where it's like, what do you prefer? Do you prefer space or do you prefer on Earth? Like,
I will say as well, and like I play more console games in general because it's just more reliable in general. But like now that I have a half decent PC, like I can play PC games as well. There's a choice there. And I remember when I reached out to Capcom and they're like, "Yeah, we'll send you a key for Resident Evil 4." I'm like, "Sweet." And they sent me a PC key because they're like, "Oh, we haven't got any PS5 keys left. That's fine." I'm like, "Okay, I'm not used to this, but we'll see how a brand new game runs on PC on day one." And that game ran flawlessly. Like not a single problem, absolutely perfect. And I'm like, very rarely do I install a AAA game on my PC day one and it just runs immaculate.
It works. Yeah, there's been I think there was like maybe one game that I went back to the publishers or whatnot. It's just being like, "Hey, heads up, is anyone else reporting blue screenings with this game?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Cool." I'm not going to name the game, but I went back to them just being like, "Hey, this game is blue screening my PC." And they're like, "Oh, what are your
specs and stuff,
performance settings and specs and stuff?" And I sent them my list and I was like, "This is what I'm running." And they went, "Okay, so it's not your specs." I'm like, "Exactly, it's blue screening it." So I've uninstalled it. I'm not going to play this until it's fixed. And then like 3 days later, it was like, "Patch done, no worries." I'm like, "Cool." Yeah. It's in the review period, so I'm not necessarily going to be like, "This doesn't work," because it was only I had the problem. Like my other PC mates didn't have the issue with it. But I'm like, it's in the review period. They patched it while it's in the review period, so it shouldn't be out during the release period. No one mentioned it.
There's nothing. There's nothing worse than when people get given keys and then they make content and they're like, this game was shit and it couldn't run on my computer, so I give it 0 out of 5 stars. Like, come on, dude. It's like to do it. Like you talk to the publisher, the
brands and stuff,
whatever, brands, whatever. They want that feedback. Like they want to know if something's wrong with their game on day one. Like
there was a beta for a game last weekend or the weekend before, and it was just like they sort of, I got a key for it, being like, hey, do you want to check this out? We don't want a video or preview, anything like that. Like, I just want your private feedback on what you think of it, sort of thing. And I was like, I like this. I didn't like that. I think you could do something with this, but like overall, it's got some potential. It's like, that's all I needed. That's all I wanted. And every video I make, like obviously when you're in the creator space, it's like send back your feedback, your footage, you work with it. So if I'm not too sure in the Twitch space if it's like just send us a couple of your streams so we can.
I mean, recently I did an indie game called Doggy Don't Like, I think it was, or Donkey, something like that. And it's like, it's literally just like you're a out of control dog in a house, and awesome. The dev was like, oh, you played it? Like he messaged me. He's like, did you play it? Send me the VOD. I want to watch all of it. I'm like, yeah, sure. And like, I fucking sucked at that game, but like it was hilarious. But the guy is like, he was eating it up. He's like, oh, interesting. You know, and he wants the feedback and all that sort of stuff. I did it similar. Well, it's all kind of connected. I went through like a phase of like playing all these games because the developers were like, hey, would love to see you play this game. And I did Copycat, which is an Australian made game. And beautiful game. Like the story is gonna kill some people. Like they're just gonna fucking bawl their eyes out. I'm sorry, but it's still a fun game. But I broke it like immediately. I'm like, oh, this is bad. And then I think like Shelby is in the stream. Is like, oh, I think you broke it. And then someone else comes in. They're like, oh, that's my problem. My bad. I'm like, oh, he's the developer. And it was the same thing. Same thing for Bears in Space.
Yeah, hey, I was about to say, did you check that? It's so good.
I got the preview demo or whatever before it. Yeah, streaming it, and I broke that game. and I said, and one of the devs were in the stream, and he's like, "Oh, that's not right." And I'm like, "Yeah, that really seems right." Like I had it on 0.01 sensitivity, and it was like I was on 100,000 sensitivity.
Jeez, right?
Like,
okay, cool.
My bad. But I was lucky because the guy's right there, and he could just write it down. But it's like if I play a demo like that, I would send it to him and say, "Hey, mate." And send them a clip or something and say, just so you know, this is what I ran into. Is that normal? Whatever. Like, give them a chance to fix their game. It's almost like a service. It's like I'm not paying for this. You're giving me something. I'm getting something out of it. The least I can do is report back anything that's
it was the same thing with Bears in Space. Like the review codes went out for that like 2.5 weeks or so. Like. Generally, when you review something, you get it hopefully a little bit early so you can have your impressions or thoughts ready to go. Yeah. But there was a point in the game I was like, cool, like there's an invisible wall. I physically can't progress past this level. So I literally just messaged them on Discord being like, hey, dudes, I found this bug. Are you guys aware of it? And they're like, yeah, we've got 2 people who've mentioned the same thing. Literally like 45 minutes later, it was like patch done, awesome, in you go. And it was like, cool. It's not affecting a released copy of the game. So I think when it comes to reviews,
I mean, if anything, you made the game better. Like you personally.
I was chatting to one of the devs and he's like, did you finish the game? Did you finish the game? I'm like, yeah, I finished it. He goes, did you notice this reference? I'm like, yes. He goes, I put that in there for you. And I was like, yeah. Like, fuck yeah. It's like, I knew you'd find it.
I love that shit. And that's where I think like dealing with a lot of these like smaller companies with smaller crews and stuff like that, they're just a little bit more approachable and you can sort of go, hey, this, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I should change that or fix this or whatever. And it's good. And I feel like there's definitely that demographic of creators that are like, nah, game shit, I'm not gonna play it, whatever, and it's like, yeah, but this, if they're giving you like, you're kind of like in an agreement, right? Unless they're giving you a bag of money and saying play the game for 60 minutes and mention my game 3 times, that's a different deal. But if it's like, hey, we're gonna give you a code early, can you make some content for it and whatever, and you agree to that, then the deal is that you work with them on that. It's not just a matter of going, shit,
yeah. When I've done a couple of review things. Like I've previously done podcasting when I had my own show and stuff like that, and that's sort of how I moved into it in my YouTube area. But we'd get a copy of a game, I'd give it to sort of my co-host, being like, "Hey, dude, do you want to play this?" He's like, "Nah, I'm like, all right, well, I'm currently doing a review on Resident Evil 3, so I can't do anything with this code for, I don't know what game it was, but it was like, they've given it to us. They want us to do something with it. I'm currently stuck with this. Can you do this while I'm doing this? Because you don't want to do Resident Evil 3. And he's like, nah. I'm like, all right, cool, man. I'm not doing everything. I just went back to the publishers being like, hey, dude, thanks so much for the code. I know we asked for it, and but we at the moment we're stretched too thin in regards to we can't cover it. And it's like, yeah, cool, no worries, that's fine. I feel like as long as you give the people their heads up or the publishers their heads up, like
you have to have a conversation.
I can't cover this in regards to when you need it done. I think when Skull and Bones came out, Ubisoft were just like, do you want a code for it? And I was like, the game's already out. I don't know if I can do much with it. Like, I'm happy to play it to give some thoughts. And they just went, look, play it if you want to play it. If you don't want to play it, like, that's fine. That's cool. Just thought we'd offer it to you. And it's just like, you build those relationships as you go. But when you're starting out, it's like, if you want to review something, you have to work for it. And I've seen a couple of creators, like, just throughout my near 10 odd years doing this, where it's like they get stuff and then they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And then when it's like, yep, my review's up or my podcast episode's out, it's like, did you get invited to that event? I'm like, yeah, that's how I saw It Chapter 2. I got invited to go see It Chapter 2, and it's like, oh, I didn't get invited for It Chapter 2. I'm like, well, you haven't done a podcast episode in 6 weeks. Like, that's why.
Yeah, I had this great conversation. I always say with who, but it was with like a film studio company, whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
And like they came back to me like, hey, I just wanted to check where your content is on this whatever film it was. And I'm like, yeah, do you need numbers? Because I got numbers. I'll give you whatever you want. Like it's not an issue. Like, oh really? You can do that? I'm like, yes. I thought that's like standard. Like you want numbers? Easy. No. Oh, most people don't give us their numbers. I'm like, why? You gave them the opportunity. The content wouldn't exist without it. At least they can say is, hey, we got 500 views on this. It's not a big deal. Anyway, I sent them through like I have like a post pack sort of thing that I put together, and it's like, here's my impressions, here's my views, this is some general feedback, some comments from the community. Thanks for the invite. Hope to work for you again in the future. Sent them that, and they're like, holy shit, this is awesome.
It's
like
professional.
Why don't people do this? They're like, and the amount of people
emails after you walk out of a screening saying like, can you please give us your initial feedback? I'm like, I already did.
So literally, here's the link to my video. No, but it's the amount of people. What it is there's so many people not doing this. They're like, oh, this is abnormal. Like, no, this should be the normal. Like, if you're getting given opportunities and stuff like that, do it. And the advice, and like I get this a lot, is like people like, hey, how do you get to these events? How do you get these opportunities, stuff like that? It's like, how do I approach a publisher or whatever? It's like, you go to them, you keep it short and sweet. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is what I need from you. And this is what I do for you. Done. And then fucking do it. Like, that's the next thing. Like, you have to actually do it. Like, measurable results so that you can do it. Because they will go, oh, I gave a key to so-and-so, but I haven't seen them play it or anything yet. What's going on there?
Yeah. And that's the thing as well, like with Xbox and with Steam and as well. I'm not too sure about PlayStation, but you can easily, like, especially if for however reason or way you find it, you can, if the person's profile is public, you can go on and see like, cool, they played Saints Row for 4 minutes. And it's just like, I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
And it's like, and here's his podcast episode where he talks about it for 45 minutes. I'm like, he literally, like, you can, like, if people really want to, you can sort of do that. And it's one of those things where, like, there are genuine people who want to get, like, they're inspired by other creators, and that's a great thing that sort of yourself, that you do, that like Logan does, that Dantix and all my mates sort of do, is they create content, they inspire people to do it, but then there's some people who just sort of get the stuff and do nothing with it.
And then they think no one notices. And it's like, we know.
Yeah, it's like, no, people will notice. And the problem will be is when they notice, everyone talks.
Yeah, so, literally. And it's crazy. And I think it comes up a lot. And like people are like, how do I get into it? It's like, just do it. And even like and some people will disagree with this, but this is kind of my hot take. It's like, if you go, let's say Nintendo, right? Fucking one of the hardest companies to like get a real fucking relationship going with, right? You go to them and you go, I want to cover the new Paper Mario game that's coming out. They'll go, they won't even reply to you really. But so you just fucking do it. Buy the game and make the content and show them. Go, look, this is great. It got me 50,000 views or whatever. And then when you go to the next one, you go, hey, I want to do what I did for Paper Mario for this game. And then you just start showing that you can do it, because there's people that are getting keys that aren't doing it. So you're already creating more content for them than that. And I create content anyway, because I'm a content creator at my core, and I'm passionate about doing it. So it's never about like what I get for nothing. But I remember at PAX last year, people come up to me, he's like, hey, we're going to do like a Ubisoft meetup later. I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. And they're like, you coming? I'm like, I'm not Ubisoft. I'm not in the creators program. And they're like, yeah, you create all the Ubisoft stuff. I'm like, yeah, I like the games.
Yeah, I was talking to our mate at Ubisoft, and I was like, should I apply for the Ubisoft ANZ creator program? And she's like, no, you don't have to if you don't want to. Like, you review the games for us. Like, you don't have to apply for things, and if you apply for it, just let me know. But it's like, it's not like a you have to be in this group in order to work with us sort of thing like that. It's just like, yeah, as you said, show them that you're doing stuff with it.
I was literally at that point, I was literally like, I'd be playing something, and then like guys in chat will be like, yo, you playing Motorfest? You're going to be playing Motorfest? I'm like, I don't know. What do you reckon? And they're like, you should play it. It'd be fun. I'm like, all right, I'll ask Ubisoft if I can get a key. And I just message Ubisoft and I'm like, hey man, community wants to play Motorfest. What do you reckon?
And they're like,
yeah, sweet. No worries. I'll send you a key.
Yeah,
like sweet, it's done. And then I make all this content, and then I sit there and I laugh, because I go, I might have done like 5 streams or something with it, and it's probably a total of 20 hours or whatever. It's 20 hours longer than some creators, that got keys as well. And I'm just like, I'm a part of the deal. And I applied like early, like Christmas the year before,
when they sort of first opened it up, sort of thing.
Yeah, and got denied immediately. And I'm like, that's fair. But then but I've done all the content since, and I've built this relationship, and then I was still well under the numbers, but I applied and got straight in, because they're like, oh yeah, no, we know who you are. It's all good.
Yeah, it's like there will be the occasion here or there where you'll get a key for something, and then it'll be like, look, I'm currently swamped with The Last of Us Part 2 or whatever it is that you're with, and they're just cool, no worries. But if you're constantly like that, then they're constantly giving you something, going like, hey, here's a copy of Mortal Kombat 1. I say that because I've got a Sub-Zero thing on my desk. But it's like, yeah, like here's a code for Mortal Kombat 1. You don't do anything with it. Like, here's a code for Dragon Ball Z or whatever. I'm just pointing random crap out. And then you just constantly don't do anything with it. It's just like, well, it's like getting invited to movie screenings and then just saying, yes, you're going to go, and then you don't turn up.
Yeah.
And it's like, in a movie screening sitting, it's like you're taking someone else's seat, where it's just like, dude, if you can't do it, that's fine. But like in some instances, some of these early codes are really strict. Like I know that there were some games where it's like, sorry, dude, review codes are out for some people, but like the main batch of codes will come out on the early access days, and we can send you some then. It's like, fine, cool, sweet. During that time, I can work on this. I can finally get some bloody Warhammer painting done. Like I can take a step away from the mouse and keyboard for a second.
Yeah, and it's just about being honest. You're just like, oh, this is what I can do, and then do it. If you can't do it, just say you can't do it. Like it's so simple, but it's like so many people just don't quite understand that. It's not, hey, this person does everything. It's that this person is managing their time and they're managing their content. And they get it, like, because you get keys like all the time. And like I'm in not so much right now, because we're about to hit like a bit of a dead air, I guess. But there was a point in time
coming up, so you're about to get busy.
Yeah, it's a different kind of busy. But there was a period of time there where I was like, if I'm not getting like sent a key, then I'm not playing that game, because I've already got games where they've sent me keys back to back to back. So there's like other games where I'm like, man, I can't wait to play this game, but these are guys working with me and they've sent me keys, so they're going to take priority, where this guy won't reply my email. So it's like, and that's just how it is. It's like, and it's not anything against them, and I'll probably end up going back to play that game. But if someone else is more willing to help me with what I'm asking them to do, then I'm going to help them and play their game as a priority, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that makes sense. It's also as well, like, outside of like, your live Twitch streamer. Like, I have dabbled and I really can't do it. Like, I have to be able to manipulate and create my content so it makes a narrative where you're just like, yeah, man, come hang out and stream. I'm like, I don't have the personality for that. But it's like, outside of that though, it's like, dude, I got a 9 to 5 job that sometimes leaks into weekends. I've got I got dogs, I got a wife, I got a mortgage, I got gardening to do, I got all this sort of stuff.
Life, just life.
Yeah, I got general life sort of things to do, and then it's sometimes life does get in the way.
Yeah, and one of the things, it was on the first episode we did with a chap named Average Rook, who's does just a lot of different content, live streaming, cosplay, stuff like that, and he's like, just do what you can do. Like that's like, don't do everything.
Yeah,
do what you can. Because if you can't do it, don't do it. You know, it's like, don't kill yourself on this. Like, don't. You know, if you need to go to work to pay the bills, you go to work to pay the bills.
Yeah,
and
that's I will say as well. Like, also do what you enjoy. Like, linking back to what you said was like, if you're playing a game that you don't enjoy, well, it's like, well, you're not going to enjoy making the streaming content for it, or putting together a video for it, or whatever form of content you create. It's like, if you really like talking about Dragon Ball Z, play the Dragon Ball Z games, because guess what? You love the Dragon Ball Z world. The games, most of them are pretty damn good. Yeah. And happy days, off you go.
And the people that'll come and watch that video will like Dragon Ball Z, and then you have something in common.
Exactly. Yeah. Where if you like, I've unfortunately broadened myself out a bit too much, because I've got games, and then I've got a handful of movies here and there. Like, I'm really excited to go see Annabelle, and I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go fucking watch Annabelle. I'm gonna do a video on it. It's gonna be great. And then at the same time, I'm like, I have a Magic the Gathering event that night. I have to drop Annabelle because I'm gonna go slap some cards on the table.
Yeah. It's getting a little bit like that. Like I know that, like, next week I'm like, oh yeah, I normally stream 5 nights a week. I'm like, yeah, but I got 3 events on, so it's going to be 2 nights. It's like, shit. Yeah. It's like, but at the same time, and this is the cool thing, and I've only just sort of getting into this now, is that I'm running into people, and like, yes, I'm very like game focused. I'm very passionate about my games, but I'm also a massive movie buff. Like, I fucking love movies, right? And now I'm meeting other creators that also fucking love movies, and then now we're connecting. We're having a great time, and we're chatting about movie shit and TV shit and stuff like that. I'm like, this is cool, and I love that. And I'm like, and it gets to that point where, how do I involve this in my content and stuff like that? And I've had people like, hey, I come to your streams, but I don't really care what you're playing. I just want to talk to you about movies. I'm like, I'm cool. I'll talk about movies. I love it. It might not be for everyone, but
like, I've been to a couple like movie screenings, like, just throughout my content creation sort of period. And one of the best screenings was when me and you went to go see Saw 10 or Saw 11 or whatever the hell it was. And it was just like, it's 2 dudes who like video games. And I think we saw like The Flash as well, like a week or so beforehand or whatever.
Yeah, they gave us flashlights.
Yeah, they gave us flashlights, yeah. And we're literally just like, we're sitting here, we're just hanging out, we're chatting shit, we're having a laugh and the movie's on, and we're just like, can't believe she cut her own leg off and she has to scoop the marrow out. Where she's like, that's fucking gross.
The amount of times I've told people about Saw 10 and I'm just like, it's fucked. You know?
As soon as I saw it was like Saw 11's coming, I'm like, me and Zombie are going to this.
Oh my God, I will get an invite too. I don't know what it is, but like horror movies and stuff like that, they're like, oh, this guy loves horror. I'm not a big horror guy, but it's like, but at the same time, because of this, I think I've watched more horror movies and I have a greater appreciation for it. Just because, like, people are like, hey, you should come see this movie. I'm like, all right, I'll come see the movie. I love movies.
I'll give it a watch.
It's like, but yeah, it's just, it's so, yeah. And I've now at that point where like I've been introducing other people, like, you should be watching these movies and coming along. And that, oh, I can't afford it or whatever. I'm like, all right, well, let's start making content. Let's go to the preview screenings then. If you can't afford it, let's do some work. Let's work for it and do that. And it's getting there. We're, a couple of times and whatever, and I've gotten to the point now where like sometimes they'll send me an invite and like, hey, do you want to bring anyone along? And I'm like, yeah, I'll bring someone along, sure, whatever. It's like,
yeah, that's also a thing like with content creation as well. Like there is a bit of work with it. Like, absolutely love playing games. Like one of my favorite things is finding memes to put into my videos and making sure that even if the video or the game is not a great game, if the memes work, fine. If someone's watching my video and they get a laugh from what I put in,
oh man, I'm fucking. What was it? What was the one? Which one was it? Oh, fuck. There was one that was just your Simpsons quotes were like, I was thinking the quote and then the quote would happen on the screen. I'm like, brilliant.
Oh, you commented about that recently as well.
It was like you were in my head. And I can't remember which video it was, but it's just like, fuck,
it was like the first comment. It was like the video went live and 20 minutes later you commented just being like the Simpsons quote slap. I was, I can't remember.
Because like I would hear the Simpsons quote and then the Simpsons quote would appear in the video. I'm like, yes, he gets it. Oh man,
it's like
so good.
The one thing I hate doing is like I absolutely hate recording my voice and then going back through the audio script and cutting out any screw ups or stuff ups or whatever it is. I'm like, it's the most draining part. But like, content creation does require a bit of work, but it's also you have a lot of fun. You make a lot of friends. Like
Yes,
I've made
absolutely.
fuckloads of friends from this. So it's
and people that share your interests, which is just nuts.
exactly.
We are running out of time, but I do feel like we haven't really talked about anything that the podcast is about. But that's
Ask
fine.
more questions then. If you
No,
want to ask more
what I
questions,
want
go
to do, because I think what most people would watch this episode for, and they'll go is like, okay, well, there's a lot of people that are trying to crack into YouTube, first of all, but they also want to crack into YouTube in the sense where they're working with brands and they're working with content, like for whether it be film
or whatever
games
is,
or whatever. It's like, what advice do you give to someone who's like, I want to start reviewing games? Where do they start? Because obviously you're not gonna go start a channel and then go, hey, Nintendo, give me a Switch. It's not gonna work. It's like, where do you start?
I would say, let's say, you want to start a video game channel, you want to review it. Try and go like your first video, if it's rather than doing a brand new release game or Baldur's Gate 3 or something like that everyone's already played and talking about, there's so much content out for it.
Like the
maybe go
popular.
like what is your personal favorite game? Is it Gears of War? Is it Splinter Cell? Whatever your personal favorite game is, because you yourself as a creator know why you like it. You can explain why you like it, and if you're a fan of the series or the lore, you can then add that into the video. So rather than it just being like look, Baldur's Gate 3 is really cool because you can do this and do that and rah, just sort of repeating what other people are saying. You're giving your reasons as to why you love Gears of War 3 or Star Wars Jedi Survivor or whatever it is, being like, this game's wicked, and sort of go through the paces when you do that video of why you like it, what maybe doesn't work in your opinion. Because for me, I'll do that going like, cool, I didn't like Baldur's Gate 3 because this didn't work for me. Or what I don't like about Helldivers is like, it's a really fun game, but playing it with randoms doesn't hit the same as playing it with friends, because you need to have that audio in back, because it's fucking hilarious. But don't just go, yep, cool, I'm going to review games, this is what I'm going to do. People want to know why you like something or why you don't. They more so come for you. And if you can provide something that others aren't. I throw in an unhealthy amount of memes in my videos. Sometimes, though, they have like 50 memes. Sometimes it's 4, but they're well-suited memes.
Yeah, but they're yours as well. Like, that's your flavor. Like they're memes that you get, makes you laugh. That's why you put them in there, right? Like,
dude, every single video I make, I have my wife come in. I go, does this work? And I show her the memes, and I show her like the little preamble beforehand, and she goes like, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that works. Or she'll go like, I don't understand it, but I'm also not your target audience, because she's not a gamer at all. So she's like, that doesn't make sense to me. So I'll show it to, like, maybe I'll send you a private YouTube link. Like, what do you think? Did the memes work? Do I need to change something out? Whatever. But yeah, do something that makes you stand out, because people are watching it for you, rather than going like, when you look at the big companies like IGN or GameSpot or whomever it is like that, every video is like, oh, this is reviewed by Steve, this is reviewed by John, this is reviewed by Amy, so on and so forth, where it's like, this is just you. It's just your content.
Yep.
It's your voice. It's no one else's sort of thing.
Yeah. And a lot of people I say to them, say, okay, well, it's like, I have creators that if there's a new Dark Souls game coming out, I go to those creators immediately. Yeah. Hey, have you seen this game? Are you playing this game? And like, I get it kind of for Ubisoft games now, where people go, hey, are you going to play this new Ubisoft game? I'm like, yeah, probably. Like I'm in for it. And like a great example is Outlaws. Like obviously they just dropped the trailer and people were pretty hyped for it. And people are like, hey, can I go play Outlaws? I'm like, yeah, I've been wanting to play Outlaws ever since Massive announced they were working on it. And like, I fucking love Division. I think the gameplay loop in that is second to none. And if they could do something like that, I'm in. It's great and massive. But it's like, they've come to me because all they've done is seen the trailer and they go, oh, Ubisoft game. I'll see if Zombies is going to play it. They'll come to me, and then I've added my flavor to it, and that's it. That's why they come to me, because I know a little bit more about it. And it's the same thing with like movies and stuff. Like, they'll come to me and go, hey, do you know about this new movie? And in some cases I'll go, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll make a note and I'll go look it up. And come back to them, and you'll be like, oh man, that movie that you did. And it's like the greatest example, like when we keep harping on about Baldur's Gate, I had no fucking idea what Baldur's Gate was going on. I played Baldur's Gate 2 on the PS2 or something, right? And I'm just like, that's right. I'm like, I remember it being fun. I don't remember anything about the gameplay or whatever. And I just had friends like harping on to me about Baldur's Gate 3. I'm like, all right, I'll look into it. And then I've played it for 250 hours now. So it's not my fault. That was their fault for suggesting it to me. And it tickled my brain in a way but at the same time, I had no intention of making any kind of video about it, because I'm not an expert. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, that's the thing as well. Like if you're, for anyone who's wanting to create content on there, as you just said, it tickled your brain. Yeah. Why does whatever you want to talk about. Why does it tickle you? Like, why do you like Warhammer Space Marine? Like, why do you think Space Marine 2 is going to be a fantastic game? Whatever the game may be or content may be. Why do you think the new Queens of the Stone Age album is wicked or I don't know, whatever?
It's because it is.
It's really good. Like that and Foo Fighters released pretty close to each other. I'm like, I'm in heaven. I'm in absolute heaven. And they toured like 2 months or 3 months between each other. It was great.
Anyway,
that's another story.
It's another story. But yeah, it's about. Yeah, I 100% agree with what you're saying. 100%. And I think that's where a lot of people, if you're going to make something like a YouTube channel or whatever, or you're like, don't just make content for the sake of making content. Make shit that you're passionate about and doing. And and it's clear with your content that it's shit that you're actually interested in, and a lot of taste. And yeah, I'm gonna, at a risk of derailing the podcast any further, but I do want to bring up something because this is very important, and I feel like it's a very unique case. But I want to talk about Redfall for a second because
my Redfall video.
Because everyone came out and all the everyone obviously were just like, it's echo chamber, right? Everyone's like, this game sucks. It's fucking, the AI shit. The graphics are shit. It's not what we were promised. Game runs like trash. Garbage. But there's like 5,000 fucking videos saying the exact same thing over and over again. And then I watched your video and you're like, well, this is what you can do. And this is and you're like, you went through that. And I'm like, oh, it's almost as if this person played the game. It's like so many people were just digesting the same rage bait off of Reddit and putting it as their video. And I don't even think half the people played the game. Like, I played the game. I could see where the faults are and I could see where the wins are. And at the end of the game, I'm just like, I'm going to come back to it when they fix it. You know, that was my personal opinion. I watched your video and I'm like, yeah, I 100% agree with everything you said. But like, at the end of it, you came out of it going, I like the game. I came out of it saying, I don't like the game. But that's fine. But also, if you don't like the game, haven't played the game, and don't know anything about the game, don't make the fucking video.
I mean, the content, yeah. I've seen a lot of people, or like I've had some people ask me on Twitter, like they themselves want to get into content creation, or I've got a couple of friends of mine who are getting into it as well. They're like, do you 100% finish every game? I'm like, well, if I don't enjoy the game, then I'm not going to cover it that much, or I'm going to Baldur's Gate. I haven't finished Baldur's Gate 3. It's a pass off line in my Helldivers video.
150 hours.
Yeah, I played it for 8 hours. Wasn't my jam. I moved on with my life.
Yeah.
But like there are other aspects, especially like if you look at Redfall, where people are like, it's absolute shit game. Don't buy it. It's like, but hang on, you got Game Pass?
Yeah, literally.
I can just play it on Game Pass. If you don't like it, you've not spent any money, but you actually might like it. Like. Gears of War Tactics, everyone was like, it's a fantastic game. And I was like,
fucking Skull and Bones didn't even need you to sign up. They just gave you a trial period. Like, you don't even have to buy the game. You can play for 8 hours. Like,
yeah, it's like, I think Game Pass has got to be one of the greatest things for gaming, because it's like, I don't know if I want to spend $110 on the new Halo game. I'm like, oh, fuck it.
I don't know if I want to spend $100 on Starfield. Oh, great. Sign up for fucking Game Pass, man. Seriously?
Dude, Game Pass.
Big Mac economy?
You know Big Mac economy. Yeah. Dude, we've got to make shirts for that. PAX Australia this year. If you organise a shirt, I will totally buy it. Better yet, put them as like basketball jerseys or something. Big Mac economy, personalised number and name on the back.
Yeah, for anyone, like if I ever have anyone come to, hey, you know, my kid's interested in fucking gaming or whatever, what should I get them? It's like, get a Series S and a Game Pass done. The base bang for buck. That's it. I mean, even now, I think Samsung TVs come with Game Pass built in.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like it's an app. This
is the future. This is where people like talking about the console wars and shit like that. Mate, Xbox have already figured it out. They're already fucking 3D chess and this shit. They're making it so that anything that can run Game Pass, cloud computing, whatever, will have Game Pass installed on it. It'll be like Netflix. And and we talk about the people that aren't gamers that have money and spend money. They're the people that go, oh, I can pay $15 a month and get all these games. Sweet, they'll buy it. Like, it'll sell.
Go to JB Hi-Fi, buy myself an Xbox controller, and out of the thousands of varieties of colors that are now available with this
it's weird how they've put so much effort into making so many controllers. Yeah, it's because that's what they're going to sell. That's all they're going to sell at one point. It's just controllers.
Well, I absolutely applaud PlayStation for releasing Helldivers. We keep talking about Helldivers. It's a goddamn Helldivers podcast. But like they dropped it on both PC and PlayStation at the same time.
Their first day one release for PC and PlayStation.
And it's like Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man game is now on PC. God of War's on PC. Last of Us is on PC. That Ghost of Tsushima's coming in May, I think.
And they got a movie for Tsushima. But you know why? It's every game that they push onto PC has a sequel to buy you PlayStation afterwards. You get Spider-Man 1 goes on the PC, and then they're like, oh, you really like that, huh? Well, Spider-Man 2 is coming to PlayStation. Horizon, God of War, Ghost of Tsushima. I think there's a pattern.
I played Spider-Man 1. I really liked it. I didn't play the Miles Morales one because it was like $50 or $60 on Steam. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a game. It feels like a DLC that goes for like 6 hours sort of thing.
A little bit longer, but yes. I don't know. Yeah.
But it was just like, oh, Spider-Man 2 is coming. I'm like, I was like, Wolverine's coming. I'm like, okay.
Oh,
Wolverine might get me. Wolverine. It's like, do I really want to spend $700 on the console for one game and then I'll never play it again?
But that's what everyone says. But this, they just got to find the console seller. And and like I know that I said I was going to derail the podcast, but we'll wrap it up. But like this is the thing that PlayStation's figured out, and it's working. People buying PlayStations. It's Final Fantasy. People bought PlayStations for Final Fantasy. It's a system seller. Xbox don't have that. They don't have a system seller. They are struggling for a system seller. And you know what? What games? Like people start like they throw out all these different games. Like we need a Halo. We need the Halo Renaissance packs. Whatever. No, mate. Gears of War. Like we're ready,
dude. We haven't had a Gears game in ages.
They reckon they are saying like there's so much rumors about Gears of War coming. There's something going to be announced soon.
Collection or something. Yeah.
They'll drop a HD collection to see if there's interest, and if it sells, then they will do it, and they will make interest, and they'll do it. But this is where Xbox is like, they already figured out the back end of the game, which is get us on as many platforms as possible, make it so that you can subscribe and get things day one. Like they've beaten everyone into the game on that. Having shit dual release on PC and Xbox means that games will sell day one no matter what, because if they haven't got an Xbox, they'll have a PC at least, sort of thing.
If they haven't got a PC, they've got a Samsung TV.
Yeah, exactly. But they haven't got the games. They haven't got the games to get people in, where PlayStation's got this fucking big long play game, which is kind of I would say it's not user friendly, right? Because it's like, hey, you got a PC and not a PlayStation. Sucks to be you, but we'll see you in 6 months. We'll see you in 6 months.
I was like, dude, I'll wait 6 months. It's cool, but you do 100% have a point. Like Halo, what was the last one? Infinite released, and can't think of many Halo friends of mine that liked it.
They did. They did the Halo Infinite multiplayer sort of shadow dropped early, and then it was like you kind of split the game and split the audience, which is kind of awful.
Yeah, and then
TV shows would be all right now, though. Halo. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
Apparently, Fallout's good. I'm going to watch that this week. So
Fallout is very good. I binge watched the shit out of that, and I'm not like yes, perfect. It's excellent. I have no notes. Like there was bits of me where I wanted to critique it, but at the same time, like fuck, I'm enjoying this. it's like that's some dumb shit, but I'm still enjoying myself, But it's really good. Halo was really Fallout was really good. But yeah, it's like Xbox stuff. It's just like Forza Horizon for me was the last system seller for them, and Starfield to a degree.
Yeah,
but
Starfield to a degree, yeah.
Yeah, but because it came out on PC, it wasn't necessarily a system seller.
Well, they've got, what is it? They got Indiana Jones coming out this year.
Yeah. Still has a huge audience, even though the last movie was something else.
Well, I still stand by the fact that there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies.
That's probably wise.
Yeah. But like, I think a Gears of War HD Master would be great because you can only play on PC. You can only play Gears 1 because it's the Ultimate Edition, 4 and 5.
Yeah, you can't do
Gears 4 and 5 are basically The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi for the Gears franchise. Like, there's a video on my channel that is Gears of War 5 is The Last Jedi.
See, I played
comparisons.
1, a little bit of 2, and didn't even
a little bit of 2. Oh,
because I wasn't in the Xbox ecosystem.
You are okay. You're in for a treat when you play Gears
now.
2.
I'm just waiting for the HD remaster. Yeah. This is it.
You are in for a treat with Gears 2, but just get the tissues ready, man. Like, there's one moment in it that just fucking breaks me.
I'm fucking ready for it. I'm ready for it. Just drop that game. I'll take it. But it's interesting when you start looking at, like, people talk about console wars and stuff like that, but in the grand scale of things, they're winning on different fronts. Xbox is winning in the amount of households and people that have access to their catalog, but they're just losing on the fact that their catalog is missing those big heavy hitters. And
some of the Xbox games have gone to PlayStation now. Like Sea of Thieves is on PlayStation.
Yeah, but these are games that survive off like multiplayer. Like they need other people.
Yeah.
So we just introduced, like, rewind to the start of the podcast where I'm shitting on fucking Sea of Thieves. What's the biggest problem I have with Sea of Thieves? People have never touched grass and they've only touched the fucking Sea of Thieves and they fuck you, right? Now You've got a sea of noobs from the PlayStation coming in. Guess what I want to play all of a sudden? I want to get into Sea of Thieves and play with the noobs. That's got to be awesome.
I think Sea of Thieves now does have like an actual like story mode. Like it's got a Pirates of the
Caribbean. They have a PvE server.
Thing.
Yeah.
PvE
server. But the rewards that you reap from that is 1/5. So
I think you can go into the normal servers though, and then put there's like a safety flag or something like that you can put on your ship so you can't be attacked. Something like that. I don't know.
No, it's not like that at all. It's like you can basically say I don't want to fight people, and they're like, cool, you have to work harder, or you just open seas sort of shit, and it's fucked. And you can put up a flag saying I'm friendly, but it doesn't mean that they're gonna not shoot.
Yeah, it does really. Okay, cool.
But the thing is that like Sea of Thieves, Grounded was the other one. Hi-Fi Rush, which just more people need to play that game. And then I forget what the fourth one was, but it's like, but they're games that like they've found their audience and they've had their run on Xbox, and it's like, all right, let's get some more fucking players in this ecosystem. But my favorite bit was it was a great. This is the fucking full stop on the sentence, right? They're like, hey, Xbox, you're going to give all these games to PlayStation, right? And then you go, here you go, PlayStation. Can we have Helldivers? PlayStation's like, no, closes the door. So four games from Xbox to PlayStation. How many PlayStation games to Xbox? Naught.
Yeah, that is the one good thing. It was like they're just like console wars is over when it comes to Helldivers because it's like we need the reinforcements. That's all
Everyone
we need.
Will play. There's no. But
everyone will play it.
Unfortunately, I think Helldivers is actually a system seller at this point.
It's either a reason to buy a PlayStation or a reason to buy a PC or a gaming laptop. Like,
but if like, oh, I'm going to buy an Xbox or a PlayStation, they're like, buy a PlayStation, we can play Helldivers. It's like that's it. Fuck.
And it's a pretty good argument. It's like, get an Xbox, we can play Halo.
Yeah, no one's playing Halo.
We can spend $45 on a season pass.
This is it. This is where we're at. And look, and fucking it's this. Yeah. Anyway, I think what we've proved right now is that there's so much to talk about. And if you're passionate about this shit, then make a YouTube channel talk about the shit that you're passionate about, whether it be Helldivers, which is lots of them at the moment, but also it's working because I'm watching a lot of Helldivers content somehow, not even by choice. It just happens.
It's just like, it's literally the YouTube like homepage. It just needs to change itself from YouTube to like, would you like to know more? With just Helldivers video scrolling. That's it.
That's it. That could put its own category. We could start our own fucking YouTube at this point. It's just the Helldivers propaganda, whatever. It's it's so fun. Anyway, I'm probably going to play Helldivers later, but Anyway, we should wrap up the podcast. We have been going well and truly over time. And look, we haven't really talked about your content journey, but we definitely talked about your content. And I think that a lot of people that have watched this will get something out of it, particularly if they're looking to play in that YouTube space, in that gaming space, because I think a lot of people kind of fit into, I have to be a streamer or a let's player or, stuff like that. And they don't really think about it.
Yeah, no, man. And the one great thing with YouTube, as I said, like you are making the content. If you don't like how your voice sounds or you don't like this clip or whatever it is, cut it out. It's fine. Like video editing programs are absolutely great because you can alter and change whatever you want. We're streaming. It's like you could be doing the best race of your life in Forza Motorsport. Someone crashes into you, you're out of the race. It's like, well, that's the race done. But like if you're doing YouTube, it's like, cool, I can cut the footage right here, insert the next race that I do or whatever it is, off I go. Yeah. You're creating, you're editing and mimicking and massaging the content how you want it rather than how it is happening, which is why I can't stream because I just don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. And people come to watch me do stuff that I don't know what I'm doing.
That's why I watch you. That's why I watch you. I watch Logan. I'm like, dude, I'm hanging out with people like mates while they play games. And it's just, Yeah, and that's what I'm here for.
Yeah, exactly. And the important thing is that you do what you know, and you focus on the content you do, and that's when people will identify with that, and they'll do a better job. And and using Baldur's Gate 3 as an example, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, so I just did everything that I just monkey brained it basically, and it was the funnest fun that I've had in so long because the people are like, "Oh, you're about to meet this guy," and I'm like, "Which guy?" Like this guy. I'm like, "Oh no, I stabbed that guy. He's gone." Like, but there's a storyline there. I'm like, not anymore.
Not anymore, yeah. Not for me. In my story, he's dead.
In my story, he's dead. No spoilers here because
what's going to happen now, Steve?
Yeah. Literally
the
that.
story's gone.
I haven't finished Baldur's Gate in the sense that I haven't played through properly because I killed so many people. And like like games like Mass Effect where they get to the end and they show you like the ending for all the characters. Man, I had a short ending at the end of Baldur's Gate 3.
Dude. Oh man.
I think
the first time I played Mass Effect 2, I just killed everyone.
Man, I killed one person. I was like upset for weeks. I'm like, God damn it, I failed you. Also, yeah, I mean, let's not get on a tangent, but I was going to say, if you haven't played Mass Effect 2 full Renegade, then you haven't played Mass Effect 2.
Dude, you need to chat to Dantix for Mass Effect. Like, you'll love it.
Good.
Absolutely love Mass Effect.
Love. Yeah, I love Mass Effect. I love everyone who loves Mass Effect. It's so good.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we do need to wrap up the podcast today. Thank you, Dudi. This is the point of the podcast where I'm just trying to think if we've forgotten anything. I don't think we have. This is the part of the podcast where we do spruik your channels. So where can people find you? I know it's Dudi Reviews on YouTube.
Yeah, so it's at Dudi Reviews, DUDI. The logo for the time being, as of this episode, is Piccolo and Tien from Dragon Ball Z fused into one character. I do have a graphic artist mate who did my. I've got a new YouTube banner, so he's actually going to make me a custom sort of thumbnail picture thing for me. So it's actually sort of me rather than existing characters. You can find me on Twitter or X at Dame_Dudi_Dench. It's like Judy Dench, but it's Dudi Dench. Every time I jump into someone's stream for the first time, because my Twitch is also Dame_Dudi_Dench, they either laugh their ass off, or like when I first met Mr. Ace Geek and Attack on Cardboard and Attack on Geek, they were like, "We thought you were a lady," and I was like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because you've got Dame in your name," and I'm like, "Oh yeah, I didn't think of that."
You can be a Dame. Why not?
I just thought it was funny. Just thought it was funny. Judy Dench. So yeah, you can find me.
I got it immediately. I was like, Judy Dench. Yeah, I get it.
I'm doing the Game on Cancer superhero streamers as well. I'm not streaming so much games. I'm also painting Warhammer. Last year, Shell won the Spawn statue, I think it was. Which is somewhere around the on that wall. And I think this year I'm going to do another custom painted Space Marine for the prize. So they get to pick whatever color they want. It's for those of you who don't know or whatnot, it's not a Space Marine in regards to a little miniature. It is an action figure painted in whatever color you want. And last year they picked the Ultramarines, which is the most common of common Space Marines. So yeah, that's where you can find myself. Should you want to find myself? If not, I'll be lurking in the Zombie Loves Bacon chat some of the times.
Yeah, and I'll chuck links and everything in the description, as we always do. And if you have made it this far in the video, please make sure you leave a like and a comment. If there's someone that you would like to get on the show, shout them out in the comments below, and I will reach out to them. They might tell me to get fucked, but, it happens. But I will reach out to them because we're all about getting more and more content creators, not just streamers, but people that are doing all sorts of aspects of content creation. And as we've highlighted today, there is a lot. You don't just have to stream games 5 nights a week and hope that people turn up. You can do all sorts of things.
Whatever you want.
Exactly. So thanks for hanging out, Dudi, and thanks to everyone who's been listening, and we'll see you all again very soon. Have a good one.
Okay. Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things? The things?